Hey guys, it's Lucy here at WiredJelly, and today we'll be taking a look at 10 hilarious Craigslist encounters posted by users on Reddit. Special thanks to the following Reddit users for their stories. Make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and let's get into the video. Number 10 is Couch Surprise. My girlfriend and I arranged to buy a couch off of a couple in a fairly bad neighborhood. After a hassle of trying to find the place, we get in the apartment. The couch is in really good condition, and it was retail listed for $1,200 and we were paying $500. They were moving the next day and really needed to sell it. As I'm carrying one of the sections of the couch with a guy, I see a bug scuttle across the couch. The guy flicks it off quickly and looks at me with the most apprehensive stare ever. Long story short, the couch was absolutely infested with roaches, like I'm talking thousands inside the couch. They knew. Number 9 is Legit Scam. I was trying to sell my old laptop on Craigslist. I was flooded with scam emails saying, I would like to purchase this item for my brother, uncle, nephew, etc., who is studying, volunteering, doing missionary work in Nigeria. Please send your bank account number information so I may wire transfer funds. Seriously, I got like 100 of these emails, all saying some variation of that story. They were obviously very fake emails. Anyways, I finally get a legit sounding message saying this guy wants to buy it. We meet at a Starbucks and he checks out the laptop and asks some questions, seems satisfied, so he gets out his cash. As he hands it to me, he says, "Thanks so much. My brother is over in Nigeria for his studies and really needed a computer, so this will be a great gift." I accidentally bursted out laughing, and he just looked at me like it was crazy and left. Number 8 is Xbox Mystery. Someone had an Xbox 360 for sale. I emailed him and we agreed to meet up in a park. Turns out to be a kid who was about 14 to 15 years old. I pay him with cash and leave. I get home and turn it on, but the CD drive doesn't open. I fiddle with it for a bit and realize it's just broke. I email him back and he says something to the effect of, "You have to take the face of the Xbox off and push something on the side, then it will open." Basically, he admitted he knew it was broken, so I tell him I want my money back, and he says no. I was guessing he was using his real name, first and last, and his email address, so I opened the phone book, yes, a phone book, and looked up everyone by their last name in that town. There were fewer than 10 entries. I dialed the first one and asked if the kid was there. She says, "No, this is his aunt's house." I politely said, "Oh, do you happen to have his home number?" She gives it to me. I find that phone number in the phone book and get the street address. I drive to his house and knock on the door. He answers the door and starts freaking out. "You have to leave. My mom can't know I sold that." I said, "I'm not leaving without my money." He says, "I already spent it. Get out of here." I just laughed, stepped around him, and knocked again on the door until his mom showed up. Turns out she knew the Xbox was broken also. She made him give the money back, he hadn't spent it, and I handed over the broken Xbox. Number 7 is illegal cards. I was selling sealed Magic the Gathering boxes. I get a response and arrange to meet at a Starbucks open 24 hours. I arrive at Starbucks and see that there is conveniently an ATM on the same block. I grab a coffee and wait. There's a trio of police cars out front, also drinking coffee and talking. The guy shows up and checks in with me. He walks down to the ATM and comes back with a stack of cash. We walk to my car and he hands me the cash and I hand him the boxes. We both promptly get detained by said police, who are absolutely convinced that this is some sort of complicated drug trafficking. They repeatedly demand to search both vehicles, which my new friend is adamantly against. And this being San Francisco, not too surprising. They open the booster boxes and open some of the packs. They call for backup. Backup completely randomly is a regular Magic the Gathering player. He spends 10 minutes convincing other officers that this is not, in fact, a complex drug deal. Number 6 is Nintendo Mayhem. I went to buy a Nintendo 64 with a ton of games and a few controllers for $100. He told me to meet him at a Walmart not far from my school, so I went after the school day. He told me that morning that he had a cherry red Mustang and to meet him at it around 3 o'clock. I pulled into the Walmart and there has to be 3 or 4 cop cars around a cherry red Mustang. The guy was sitting on the curb while they took out a bunch of stuff from his car. He had like 2 pounds of marijuana on him and some other stuff. I was sad. I really wanted the N64. Number 5 is math lesson. Not me, but a friend. He was selling a graphing calculator and arranged to meet the buyer at a shopping center. The buyer wanted to test it out, but it didn't have any batteries. My friend agreed to ride to a grocery store with him to pick up batteries. On the way back to where they originally met, the buyer took the calculator to test it out. He plays with it for a minute, agrees it is in good condition, and passes it back to my friend. On the screen, the buyer had typed, "You're kidnapped." My friend finishes reading it. Buyer locks the door and speeds up. Friend panics. Then the buyer stops, laughs, gives my friend money, lets him out and tells him to be more careful. Number 4 is be the best. A couple years ago, I contacted a guy about buying some old Pokemon cards for my son. I didn't know anything about Pokemon at the time. He was just getting into it. The ad said he was selling 100 cards for $20, only 20 cents a card, which seemed like a great deal to me, considering it's something like $6 a pack now for 10 cards. I arrived at the range meeting spot, gas station parking lot. He gave me a stack of cards wrapped up in a rubber band, and I handed him a $20 bill and we were on our way. It really felt like a drug deal. Very few words were exchanged. I gave them to my son that weekend, gearing up for the happiest reaction ever for the coolest dad ever. Turns out I overestimated things a bit there. He thumbed through the cards, his massive smile slowly bending into a puzzled expression. Then he took a deep breath, turned to me, trying to feign some degree of happiness and gratitude, and asked me why I would get him a stack of 100 energy cards. I've since learned the difference between holo and foil cards, what types are good against other types, what it takes to be the very best, and that Brock is a total cool's hound. Number 3 is just another day. I buy and flip phones, so I was responding to an S4 for sale. I meet him at the police station, and when I look at the phone, there are at least 50 texts and missed calls from someone asking for their phone back. I tell him it's not his, and I walked into the police station with the phone. The guy got arrested for theft, and we returned the phone to the owner. She was so grateful and offered me $50. I just said pass it on. Felt badass for a week. Number 2 is love obsession. I bought an Xbox 360 from a Craigslist ad. The kid selling it was like 17. We met at a public location, Starbucks, at my request. I handed him the money, he handed me the 360. Then he asked me if he could buy me coffee. I declined. He asked me if I wanted to go out sometimes. I declined, thanked him for the Xbox, and left. Well, unfortunately, he had my phone number and email address, as I had responded to his ad. He started sending me these long, angst-filled teenage emails about how he was in love with me, how I was his destiny, and texting me dozens of times a day. Number 1 on our list is the wrong side of town. A couple years ago, I was buying some DVDs from a guy. He was on the sketchy side of town. Anyways, I pull up to his house. It's a 5-plex, 5 attached houses, and there's a note on the front door to go to the back. So I go to the back and there are these 3 gangster-looking guys getting midday drunk and some cracked-out girl with her shirt tied up, barely covering her while wearing short shorts. They all stop what they're doing and stare at me. Are you selling the DVDs? I ask, sweating beneath my dorky Spider-Man t-shirt. DVDs? Nah man, don't have any of those. Want some crack? Says the largest one, flexing his muscles. No thanks. What about my girl here? What do you mean? My face is dripping with sweat at this point. You want to take her home? No thanks. I just saw this ad online. Why not? You think she's ugly? He stands up and looks at me menacingly while I stammer, and then says, I'm just messing with you, man. No DVDs. Sure you don't want no crack? That wraps up our list of 10 hilarious Craigslist encounters. What other stories have you heard from Craigslist? Comment down below with your answers and make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching WiredJelly, and we'll see you next time.